This is section 10.2, some homework help. We're talking about parabolas, writing the equation for parabolas, in some cases sketching the graph of parabolic functions. In this set of problems, 7 through 12, I've picked out number 11, and we're supposed to write the equation for a particular parabola that has vertex at the origin and a given focus. So by telling us that the focus is at 2, 0, and again, this might be helpful as you work through these problems to do a little sketch and plot the point 2, 0, which would be right there, and remember where the focus is in relation to the graph. So if the focus is at 2, 0, that means that the parabola in this case has to open to the right, because the focus is the point that's always inside the mouth of the parabola. And for a parabola that opens to the right, we have a particular equation form. It looks like this. Solve for x equals positive a times y squared. So the job here really involves finding this number that plugs in for a. And in class today, we saw a formula that is very helpful in doing that. So here it is. The absolute value of a is equal to 1 over 4 times c. So what we know is that the distance from the vertex to the focus is 2 units. Well, that's what c refers to. C is the distance from the vertex to the focus. So absolute value of a is going to be 1 over 4 times 2. That means the a number that belongs in our equation is 1/8. So that gets us to our final answer. The answer here is x equals 1/8 y squared. Okay, that takes care of number 11, and the others in that block of problems work very much the same way. Okay, let's move on to another type of problem. This is taken from the block of problems 16 through 23, where we are given the equation of a parabola, and it's our job to find the focus and the directrix. So once again, maybe a picture will help. This is a parabola equation that's solved for x, so it has to either open right or left, and since the number in front of y squared is positive, it's got to open to the right. I don't see any plus or minus signs in this equation, so that means that the vertex has to be at the origin. So roughly speaking, I've got a parabola that opens to the right. And that tells me also the focus has to be somewhere directly to the right of the vertex. So somewhere on my green line will be a point known as the focus. So once again, I'm going to use that formula. Absolute value of a is equal to 1 over 4c. It's just that in this case, since I'm given the equation of the parabola, I'm given what a is. So I'm going to use a to help me find c. And this involves, you can use cross multiplication. 4c equals 36. So c is 9. So what we're told is that from the vertex, directly moving to the right, since that's the way the parabola opens, I will land on the focus if I travel 9 places to the right. And that should be pretty obvious that the focus is the point 9, 0. So please make sure that you write the focus as an ordered pair. Don't just find C and stop there. You need to identify the ordered pair of the focus, and that's going to depend on how the parabola opens up. So there's my focus, and we talked about the directrix being the same distance away, so 9 places, but instead of going to the right, where we did for the focus, we're going to go to the left, the opposite direction. and it's going to be a line. And that vertical line is the line x equals -9. So it's a two-part answer. There's my focus, ordered pair. There's my directrix, the equation for a vertical line. Okay, so the others in that set of problems are worked out very much the same way. I thought I would do a couple of graphs, and I've just happened to pick. Just notice this. All of my examples are x equals, but I guess that's okay. You're going to work through these pretty much the same way. We need to find the vertex, the focus, and the directrix, and then we're going to put it all together toward sketching the graph. All right, so again, I don't see any addition or subtraction, so that makes the vertex pretty easy. Vertex is at the origin. This opens again to the right. I need to find out where the focus is, somewhere on the positive x-axis directly to the right of this vertex. So once again, using our little formula, A is 1/24. So that means C is 6. So going to the right of the vertex, directly to the right, 6 places, puts me at the ordered pair 6, 0. Put that on the graph, which means to the left 6 places, drawing a vertical line, will be the directrix. And that's the equation, x equals -6. Okay, well, a couple of ways you can think about this. I usually just look at this number. Makes it a little bit easier to come up with points on our graph if you think of it this way. And you may not have this many spaces. So you can change your units to make it fit. But just think about half of 24. And if you go to your focus and do 12 above, so half of 24, 12 above, and 12 below, that's an easy way to get a couple of points. And another way of thinking about it is, well, the total distance from directrix to focus is 12 units. And so I'm going to go 12 above the focus and 12 below. Or if you would rather just do the old-fashioned table of values, inputs and outputs, that would be okay too, but this might save you a little bit of time. So it's a pretty wide parabola. It's interesting that the smaller the fraction, the bigger the mouth of the parabola. So if this were 24 y squared, it would be quite a bit more narrow. And we typically would think it would be the other way around. But anyway, there's your answer for number 24. And let's try one more. This is the last one on your homework. And I gave you a note in your notes today in class that if the equation isn't solved for one of the variables, you need to do that first. In this case, we need to solve for y before we do anything else. That's pretty easy. We need to add 4 to both sides. Now, you do not want to square this. That's going to take a nice form that is very useful for graphing. This is called Vertex Form, and you're going to create standard form, which isn't as graph friendly. So leave it like this. This standard form makes it very easy to see the vertex. The vertex is -2, 4. All right, let's graph that. This parabola opens up because A, it's invisible, but it's positive. It's +1. So let's find out where the focus is. So again, I'll just show you the formula. And A is 1 again. 1 equals 1 over 4c. So 4c equals 1, so c is 1/4. Okay, remember what c represents? C is the distance from the vertex to the focus. And this tends to give people fits. If I'm at the vertex and I have to travel upward to get to the focus because this parabola opens upward, I'm going to go from the vertex, which has an x-coordinate of -2 and y-coordinate of 4. I'm going to travel up that far, 1/4 of a space. So I'll just kind of illustrate it there. Let's just pretend that that's traveling up 1/4 of a space. Well, what is the ordered pair of that blue dot? Well, we know the red dot is -2, 4. Well, if I go up just a little bit higher than that, I'm at -2, 4 and 1/4. That's the focus. And for the directrix, I'm going to go to the vertex and I'm going to go down whatever C is. So I'm just going to estimate this is going down 1/4. And I need the equation for that line. Well, at the red dot, that's y = 4. The blue is just 1/4 less than that. So this is y = 3 3/4, or 3.75. And that's the directrix. Okay, now we can come up with our points. Well, it's a total of 1 unit if you put these together. I'm sorry, it's a total of 1/2 unit. That's 1/4 and that's 1/4. So you could think of it this way. If you put 1/4 plus 1/4, that's 1/2. So you could go right 1/2 from the focus, left 1/2, and those are 2 of your points. Or you could just do an input of 1, and that'll give you another good point, a -1. Let's just let x be -1. And we're used to doing this. -1 plus 2 is 1. 1 squared is still 1. 1 plus 4 is 5. So -1, 5 should be on our graph. And we have symmetry here, so that means I've got a matching point here. And here's a rough sketch of that parabola. And I'll just make our focus a little different color. Focus really, really close to the vertex. It's just 1/4 of a unit up. And the directrix there, as you can see. So there's your graph with the focus and the directrix for number 32. All right. Well, I hope that helps. If you have other questions, you can see me in academic support, or you can send me an email. I'll be glad to help you.